On the internet, there is a lot of controversy around the video game Stellar Blade, which is scheduled to be released on the PlayStation 5 on April 26, 2024. It is difficult to comprehend that a captivating female character in a video game could have such a reaction. At the time of the initial announcement of Stellar Blade, it was clear that the developers had a specific goal in mind. One of the main characters is a woman who is quite physically appealing. Not only does the director not try to conceal this fact, but they're also very forthright about the design choice they made. As a result of the fact that fans will spend the most of the game looking at the main character, they indicated that they purposefully gave her desirable characteristics. If you are thinking that this is a form of fan service, then you are absolutely right. Nevertheless, I do not yet get the reasons why this is a negative thing. My ideas regarding the reasons why I believe that fan service is acceptable have already been made apparent in the preceding commentary. As a result, I will not speak about them once more in this location today. Rather than that, I would like to discuss the responses that we have been observing from particular individuals on the internet regarding an attractive female that is featured in a video game. It is likely that the majority of individuals have been accustomed to experiencing a certain kind of reaction if it is disclosed that there will be a pretty girl appearing on screen. Nevertheless, Stellar Blade is producing a reaction that is completely different from what was expected. In this point in time, the majority of people are sick of hearing this conversation. Therefore, when certain individuals begin to rant on Twitter, the majority of others simply ignore it. Things took a turn for the worst when those who were yelling the loudest began to get the realization that they were being ignored. Everything changed all of a sudden, and it had nothing to do with the lovely female. Rather, it was about the kind of person you are if you enjoyed it. Presently, there are those who are beginning to bring attention to the fact that the main character in Stellar Blade is a minor. As a result, if you find the design appealing, it signifies that you have an interest in certain kinds of things. In point of fact, on YouTube, there was a voice that pushed things to an entirely new level. They went out into the streets of New York and asked random people if they thought their characterization of the main character appeared to be underage. Due to the efforts that they put in, they were completely decimated. It is my intention to refrain from displaying the video here in order to avoid sending my enormous fan base of 10 people after them. A YouTube activist having a mental breakdown over the sight of a lovely video game lady is not the only thing that needs to be discussed, in my opinion. There's a far wider conversation that needs to take place. The only thing that they do in the film is select the most unpleasant people on the earth and use them to support their position. Rather than that, I believe it is essential to discuss the reasons why individuals are willing to go to such great efforts to criticize a game that provides fan service. Without a doubt, this is not a novel concept. It is something that has been going on since the 1980s. At that time, it was all about Hollywood action films. People are more likely to engage in violent behavior in real life if they see violent movies. The focus then switched to video games like Grand Theft Auto. The violence in Grand Theft Auto will eventually lead to bloodshed in real life. It's funny how the political landscape has shifted. These concerns regarding the presence of violence in video games have, for the most part, always been a talking point for conservatives. In the past, liberals would make fun of them for their perspective. On the other hand, it seems as though the conversation has switched at this point. Now, the same people who used to laugh at others for stating that violence in Grand Theft Auto will lead to violence in real life are the same people who argue that a lovely girl wearing a skirt is going to lead to more misogyny. The exact moment that this transition took place is unknown. Nevertheless, there are always a few pertinent points to take into consideration. Talking about this topic is entertaining because it gives us the opportunity to witness insane individuals losing their minds. One thing that should be taken into consideration is that this discussion is only being held by a limited number of individuals. The majority of people do not care about providing service to their fans. For the most part, men and women are involved in it. In the Twitter wars, it is simple to become disoriented. With that being said, there is one problem with this discussion. What we are witnessing is an increasing number of developers and businesses beginning to give in to these insane demands. Therefore, this problem is becoming increasingly genuine as an increasing number of game producers begin to censor their own games. However, there's one thing that should be known. Each time we see developer fall into these demands, there is always another developer who is doing the opposite and fighting back. The team behind Stellar Blade is committed to its creation.